right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Dad's Den of Squeaky Chairs. It's a chair from like the 50s, okay? So, you know, got to give it a break. But welcome. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. And if you haven't called your mom, don't text her. Let her hear your voice. If you haven't called your mom and told her you loved her, I'm going to have to drop by and give you a smack. So do that. Make sure you do, because it means a lot. It really does. When you're a parent, you know, there's a line like this in Cover Up, film noir. When you're a parent, you just don't really know if you've done well, if your kids love you. You got to tell your parents once in a while. I mean, if you don't love your parents, that's a whole other thing. But anyhow, so I hope everybody's having a good Sunday. We're starting to get hot here in Las Vegas. We had a triple digit yesterday, at least over on, you know, where I am. The airport might not have gotten that hot, but it had to be at least 100. And we're pretty warm today too. So, summer, you know, you hear like people up in Wisconsin, Minnesota will talk about, you know, 6 months of winter. It's like 6 months of summer in Vegas. And I mean, it's not pleasant, really. I mean, airport did report 100. Okay. So it was probably more than 100 over here. We're usually like, I don't know, 2 or 3 degrees hotter over here. But, yeah, it's not the most pleasant summers. I think people who have lived in very wintry places love it. But personally, I could do with a little less summer and a little more fall. That's kind of my favorite. So anyways, what do we got going on today? Actually another couple little sad stories. So we'll get those out of the way. First thing, Greg Canham, makeup artist, did everything from like Mrs. Doubtfire to Beetlejuice to Lost Boys to The Mask. Passed away this week. So God bless him. Godspeed. If you're growing up in the 80s or 90s, I don't see how you could have missed his work. It's somewhere along the line. And always excellent stuff from the dude. And the other one, and I'll admit this one hit me a little bit more, was Stephen Fabian passed away. Great artist. I knew his work from a couple places, but especially the Dungeons and Dragons Gazetteers that they did for their Known World line. He did a lot of the interior art, and man, was it good. I can remember when I was working on a campaign of my own, I can remember plunking a lot of money into photocopiers to get copies of his work so I could use them as like character sketches for players and stuff like that. Just amazing stuff. And there's a couple examples, but, you know, look him up. He did tons. I think he did a lot of interiors for Ravenloft, which was friggin' huge back in the day. Just an incredible artist. It kind of always looked like he was working maybe with chalk, but I don't think he really was. I don't know. I have no idea what his process was. It'd be amazing to see. But, man, it's a real talent. I hadn't thought about him for a while. And then I saw that and it's like, oh. So rest in peace. Godspeed to Greg Canham and Stephen Fabian. Man, two of the good ones. A lot of great artists from the late 20th century, I guess we could say, that we're losing now. You really, man, you really realize how much you appreciate what they did. It's incredible stuff. Okay, so I thought today, I'm not bagging and boarding today. I got a few things I could, but I thought today instead I would goof around with these little dudes. Now, I always say PetitBlock, but I don't know what the actual pronunciation is. And I've talked about these on my channel a couple years ago. So I would get these from Daiso. I don't know, maybe you have a Daiso in your town. If you do, it's basically like a Japanese 5 and dime. It's a 100 yen shop. Stuff there is often more than 100 yen or $1. And I suppose now with maybe the tariffs and stuff, that's even more likely. But these are basically like miniature Legos, and you could get these packs, and they have like military vehicles, work vehicles, animals, robots. Actually, they have little transforming robots, which are pretty cool. I should have grabbed a few that I got back there on my DVD shelf, I guess I could call it. But so I got a bunch of these, and I put a lot together, but I haven't put them all together. So I thought, well, that might be something to do while we kind of chat and blather and waste time. So why not? So as you can see, it comes in this little package. You take the top, off, and then it does reseal. And they do give you extra parts in these things, which is nice. Because you got to figure a lot of kids using them, probably losing things. So you're not completely out of luck. And you could technically save stuff up, to make things of your own. Now this particular one, and I can maybe hold this even closer so you can see, we are putting together a high-speed train engine. So here's what the instructions look like. And the blocks are all really, really tiny. And I think the biggest challenge I have when I'm doing these is just getting my fat fingers to get a hold of things. All right, I'm going to pour these out. Trying to do so without them gooing everywhere. Come on, babies. Come on, sweetie. There you go. Don't be afraid. Wow, that dude did not want to go. All right, so they come in a little plastic thing, but you throw that away. Because like I said, this is resealable. So any extras, or if you just want to take it apart, you could do that. So let's see, I'm going to move the camera. Now, so you can kind of see what I'm working on. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. Let's take that. We'll make that a little smaller. We'll let it sit up there. Okay, so you can kind of get an idea. All of the pieces are they're kind of thin. So they're kind of like those thin Lego pieces that you get. And that's pretty much all of them in this thing. And the real trick on this is going to be me doing it when I forgot my bifocals at work. So I'm actually going to be double glassing it today, which is extra good that I don't have the camera on my face because I'm going to look ridiculous wearing two pairs of glasses. Okay, so like if we look at each step on this little deal it tells you which pieces you're going to need for that step. So we need 2 of these little skinny dudes with 4 diddy bops on them. Those probably have names, huh? Well, here they're named diddy bops. So we're going to need a couple of these. We're going to need a couple of these dudes that have a little like a slanted bit on them. Move that a little bit out of side. This is what I'm working on right here. We're going to need 5 of these big, fat, double bastards. As you can tell, I'm using the technical jargon for these dudes. And of course, you know, you can see what the color of the things is on the thing. So like this is what I'm doing right. Oops, oh no. There. Right there, it gives you the rundown of the pieces you're going to need for this particular step that you're putting together. So we're going to need one of the really long dudes. And we're going to need some of these connector pieces, which I am not seeing at all. Am I looking at that right? Yeah, those are connectors. Why am I not seeing them? Oh, there's one. Now, obviously, they also sell train cars. And I have one. In fact, that's the first thing I grabbed to put together. And then I thought, well, wouldn't it make more sense? Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you can kind of see. And again, they have these with Legos as well. The kind of, you got the little knobby bit and the piece that it fits into. So since this is a train and it has cars that are going to connect to it, you get that good stuff. Okay. Oh. And then we also need, so this is like the first top layer. And then we also need 8 of these little pieces. Good lands. Oh, there they are. Okay. 8 of those. Holy Moses. 1, 2. There's 3 and 4. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Holy math. Okay. And 7 of those gray pieces. Is that the piece, though? Yeah, okay. I thought so, because that's all I saw. So these pieces have like a little slanted bit on them as well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and are you hiding 7? So I can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6. Oh, there it is, right in front of me. And then on the very bottom, we need these 2 pieces. Is that like a, it's not black, but it's like a dark gray. Those are black, but that's what it looks like. I'm going to go with that. Because frankly, I don't see anything else. Okay, so that's for the very bottom. So then we kind of get this top-down diagram. And you get these little arrows that go through the pieces to sort of show how everything lines up. And I won't lie to you, it can be a little bit challenging. So the edge of that is the edge of one of those. All right, so these are on the bottom. So this is going to be this way, and that goes like that. And I'm going to guess another one's going to go on the other side. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And then, let me see here. Okay, that's, yeah, okay. And then that, the third from the end of one of these. It's really hard to get started. Once you get started, that, okay. So I'm going to want to, all right, so I'm going to want to build this up a little bit. So then we're going to have one of these. once you get started and get the sort of foundation built, it gets a little easier as you go. But the one thing I did notice building these is, take that dude off for a minute. There we go. Is if you put something on wrong, it is a real pain in the butt to get these to come apart again because they're so thin. Like, and if you don't have a little bit of fingernail going to do it, it's like it is agony. Okay, so now, so I got to get this right. That goes to that front one of him. So the third goes right there. Okay. So if we get a couple of these on, then we can do sort of the next few of these. So then that has, all right. Yeah, once you get the thing started, it gets a little bit easier as you go. So we got this started. Let's go ahead and bring up the next slide. We'll talk about some of the new campaigns that are coming out at the moment. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. That's one of those. Goes in front of that. Yeah. So interesting one. Pete Zametti, who runs Alterna Comics, and is kind of known for producing comics on newsprint. So they're kind of your traditional, floppy comics from back in the day. Has got a new campaign going to buy a printer. I don't mean a printer shop, but the actual, mechanical device, so that he can start putting, making his own books, basically. Because I guess he's had a lot of trouble over the years with unreliable printers. So I'm a big fan of the old newsprint comics. It's one of the things that got me to start buying the Alterna books. There was already somewhat of a temptation there. But then seeing, oh my God, he's actually doing the old school stuff. That is amazing. So that got me to buy him. But he's had some trouble with printers over the years. So he said, you know what? Why don't I check in and see what it actually costs to do this? Because he, has experience in actually doing that kind of work. So he's not coming into it completely just, as an amateur. But why don't I do that? And then I could not only print my own stuff in-house, I could actually do the service for other people as well. Okay, let me look at that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So cool idea. And so he's got a campaign going right now on Fund My Comic to do exactly that. And you can, you could just make a contribution to it to back the campaign. You can also get samples of the full-size comics and mini comics that he could print. There'll be I think reprints of his King Cryptid, which is a good book, by the way. And then you could also essentially buy vouchers of various sizes to have books of your own printed. So if you are a sort of a new comic creator who wants to, just actually see his book in print, and, you could sell it that way. Well, that's interesting. Okay, it is that piece. All right. I guess maybe they're saying you could do either one. We'll do this one, I guess. But, if you want to just sell your book yourself online, you can get them printed by him. So you can buy a voucher to do that. All right. So here we have this first stage done. This is the rear. That's the front of the high-speed rail. So I'll start putting together the pieces I need for the next one. So at any rate, you could also buy a t-shirt, sketch cards. See sketch cards too. So, but it's a cool concept, and it really could help, indie publishers who want to get stuff out there at a lower price point. I think that's important because that's the one thing I've worried about with some of the modern indie stuff is it's it could be anywhere from $15 to $25 to buy a book. Now it's a big book. It's not like a complete ripoff or something. They're not selling you, an old 20-page floppy for $25, but it's a bigger buy-in. That's the problem. Oh yeah, and I got the magnifying glass ready in case I need it. It actually does help quite a bit. Wow. But it's a bigger buy-in. And so if you're putting out a book for, $3.99, kind of a traditional floppy, maybe a little longer, whatever. New character, new concept, you might find more people willing to just jump in and get the thing for $4 than you will people who are willing to jump in for $25. Because if I'm in for $25 and I get it and I don't like it particularly, well, that's a little rough. That's a fair amount of money that I'm spending to have something that I don't really care for. So you can be a little more adventurous. And, I think that's part of the idea is for people who want to put out, what they refer to as an ash can, kind of a sample issue to get started before maybe you do a big crowdfunding campaign. You'll be able to do that with a service like this. And again, it's a little more indie. It's not, it's not maybe as a corporate kind of thing, which could be good too. At any rate, I think it's a cool concept. I have not thrown money in yet, but I'm going to. I just haven't gotten to it yet today or this weekend. Oh no, that's a different piece. Okay. I'm glad I did not accidentally grab those pieces before, or I would have been screwing myself up. So anyways, you might want to check that out. Like I said, it's on fundbycomic.com. I think it's a pretty worthy project. Okay, that's blue, and it's 3 of them, not just 1 of them. All right. 1, 2, 3, and 2 of these. Yeah, that's the other fun part with some of these things. I'm colorblind. So there's times where I'm like, I think I'm doing the right color. Am I doing the right color? I'm not sure if I'm doing the right color. You can also, now how is that gonna, wait a minute. Oh, that's for the top part. Okay, that makes sense now. All right. Wow. So I got 3 stages. So this is top stage. And then I got a middle stage 2, which is going to require one of these. Yes. 3 of those. Not that. Not that. That. So there we go with King Cryptid and Pete Cimetti. Okay, so this is cool. The complete Charles Dana Gibson. Coming December 2025. Reproduced art with an essay from Sean Michael Robinson from Living the Line. That is the publisher. If you don't know your Charles Dana Gibson, dude, what's wrong with you? No, actually, a lot of people nowadays probably don't know him. Maybe they've heard the phrase, the Gibson girl. which was the name given to the women that he drew, because he had a distinct style and a distinct aesthetic when he did that. So you can think of like Varga girls, and, you know, where a particular artist has a particular style that really, you know, really catches people's attention. Well, that was Charles Dana Gibson back in the day. Pen and ink drawings. You can kind of see that image up there on the screen for an idea of what they look like. Oh, I just need one of those. Okay. Then I need two of these other guys. There's one. And a Wana and a Tua. Okay. Did I get all that? I think I got all that. Okay, that goes. So, now sometimes too, what I'll do is I'll look at the next stage to see how things fit together in this stage. So those are a little ahead. Okay. All right. That makes sense. At any rate, yeah. So if you're not aware of Gibson's art, you should definitely go check it out, because his technique was really, really good. Really beautiful stuff. Okay. Now those go over there. Burp. See, this is where I'm putting these things together kind of tight. God forbid if I do it wrong, because I will be made to regret it. Deeply, deeply regret it. That goes all the way down here. Okay. Got it. And then I'm going to have... Okay, when those go... All right, kind of reversed. On the edge, it looks like. Fascinating, Captain. Yeah, so you might want to check that book out. I'm not sure what the price point is on it, but maybe just something to look around and keep your eyes open for. It should be really, really good. Okay, those are those little dudes. All right. These are the pieces that are the absolute killers. If you're not like, you know, well, this one is for 12 and up. Even a 12-year-old might have trouble, but let me tell you something. Getting that on, there you go. And if you do these wrong, you might as well just throw it away and go buy a new one. I swear. They are so small, man. It's like so hard to get your hands around them. Okay, and then we get the. Okay. Well, I only needed one of those. All right, so these guys go here. That one didn't go down all the way. I swear I got a little curve to this, but maybe it's just my, like an optical illusion. Okay, and you go on the end like so. No, not like that. Like that. Okay, cool. So there's another layer of the train completed. Very nice. All right. So from Riot Press and Haunted Pizza, there's an Indiegogo for these characters. These are action figures, 6-inch. So I think they're like the G.I. Joe Legends. Is that what they're called? I can't remember now. 6-inch action figures. U.S. Assassin and American Ninja X. And there's another dude who I'm assuming is like the villain of the piece. So that's, you know, he's, dude's done some, like Transformer kind of characters with a comic book called Last of the Seekers. So he's got some experience now with doing action figures. And you might want to check those out, because they do look pretty cool. And again, it's like it'd be nice to get a more indie action figure kind of world going. Obviously, I've gotten stuff from Plaid Stallions, from White Elephant Toys, and there are others. But I figure the more of those that we get out in the wild, the more we're likely to see costs go down and things becoming more affordable. Oh, okay, I see what I did. I took stuff from the other pile that I should have used for this pile. Okay. Yeah, so those look kind of cool. You might want to check them out. And there are comic books to go with them. I think the U.S. Assassin from Haunted Pizza, that's Mark Polton? Yeah, Mark Polton and Mike McMahon. I want to say that I've already seen that out. At least I've seen the Kickstarter or crowdfunding out. I assume it's been delivered. I'm not positive. I think American Ninja X is something new, comic book wise, that isn't out yet. Bear in mind, I could be getting some of this stuff wrong, but any rate, I don't think it's live yet. I think it's a coming soon Indiegogo, so you could sign up for, for details, for alerts for when it's coming out. And but you might want to check it out. If it looks groovy to you, give it a try. Like I said, man, the more stuff we can get outside of the auspices of Disney and Mattel and Hasbro and et cetera, the better, in my opinion. I mean, if nothing else, those companies are in deep, deep need of competitors, of real competition. And granted, this is not going to compete with them in terms of selling 8 million units or something like that. Hell, I don't even know if they're selling 8 million units of things anymore. So it's not going to do that. But, if it captures people's imaginations and takes people away from these companies that frankly are not real, they're not always that great when it comes to the what's the word I want to use? IPs, sticking to things. I mean, they do some cool stuff and then they do some crappy stuff, but it'd be nice to get some people who are not beholden to them. So there we go. So now we got a little blue. And I kind of like how they use the slanted, bit over here. So you get a stripe that has that little, angle on it. That's pretty cool. All right, so look at that. We have now managed to accomplish the first 2 steps of this dude in about 30 minutes. I don't think I started right away on it anyways, but now this is one that is not, it's not really a coming attraction per se, but it's basically a GoFundMe to help preserve props and things used in Supermarionation. I don't know if you happen to be a Supermarionation fan. We're talking Thunderbirds. We're talking Captain Scarlet. There's a few. I'm a big fan of Supermarionation because it is like this wonderful combination of amazing design, and the work that goes into it. And in a weird way, it's also kind of completely absurd because, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but you're watching these marionettes get in gun battles and stuff. And it's just it's kind of crazy, but they're so good. And Jerry Anderson and those guys, they really did some great little plots that, that hold together. They're action shows with marionettes. What is not to like, honestly? And so, they're at that point. These things are getting pretty old. It's been a while. And they're trying the best they can to preserve as much of it as they can, because just like with all of these things, all these physical objects that were used, and we talk a lot about, physical effects and props from back in the day. And it's like, well, they are physical, which means they degrade over time. They don't last forever. You have to take great pains, and you have to restore these things. They've had to do some restoration work on some of the Star Trek assets that have gone like into the Smithsonian. They don't just stay looking nice forever. Entropy gets everybody eventually. And so, well, that's cool. Oh, I see. Those will be like the windows. Oh, very groovy. Okay, ready for the next layer here. Yeah, so they're basically, so this is like, all you're getting from this one is the satisfaction of helping preserve the past. But if it's a past that you really love, a past that you kind of grew up on, a past that I'm trying to figure out. What did I just... Okay, hold on. That's there. Where did those pieces come from? Did I miss something over on here? I don't think so. All right. I'll figure that one out as I go. That's there. Oh, no, I'm supposed to put them on right now. Okay. Sorry. That's me just trying to read instructions meant for a 12-year-old. So anyways, yeah. So Savings for Supermarionation, a GoFundMe. You might want to check that out. I mean, the craftsmanship that went into these things that they did is insane. I'm like, I watch the Thunderbirds and I look at that house that the Tracys have on their island. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like jealous. I am jealous of marionettes and their lifestyle. It's very mid-century modern cool, but it's just so easy to forget that these marionettes these aren't full-sized like a full-sized human being, right? So, I mean, every single thing there had to be made or repurposed from something else. And that's what's just so astounding about it, is the work is just so good. So the more they can preserve, and I mean, some of this stuff is also probably, preservation of like documents and things like that. I don't know that it's all about props necessarily, because if you're preserving documents, you got to have a place to store them that's secure, that's not going to, burn in a fire or something like that. Here we go. We see it's really starting to build up. Here's from the front. Other side. Here's the bottom, just in case you want to look at it. And you notice we got these clear, oops, I'm down a little bit. These clear pieces. So once those are covered up, those are basically going to look like windows on the side of this thing. That's very cool. Anyway, so that's something you might want to look into. If you're feeling charitable, help those folks out. That would be really cool. I saw this poster for Castle Rat's new album, The Bestiary, coming out in September 2025. They do fantasy metal, and I didn't write down the artist's name, damn it. And I've shown his work off before for a role-playing game project, which is why I had this. I'm actually going to look on my phone real quick. But if you've never, so it's fantasy metal. It's pretty damn good. And the videos I've seen them do were pretty rad, because they looked like They looked like they were shot on videotape. So it had that 80s sort of barbarian, sci-fi kind of movie feel to it. No, that's not it. Let's see. I'm looking to see people that I follow because I know I follow the guy. Searching can be so friggin' hard on Twitter. So let me look up Castle Rat. Maybe the post look. Oh, there it is. Alexei Gorbut. So they're going to release this September 19th, 2025. I love his art. It's really cool. And here's a shot from one of their videos. That is, I believe, the lead singer doing the barbarian thing. And again, it's shot it was either actually shot on a videotape with an old video recorder, or they just did some movie magic to make it look like it was. But very cool aesthetic. Where are the pieces I'm looking for? I need two of those. Oh, they're partly oh, there we go. Isn't it weird? Like, you look and you can't see these things at all. Like, they don't exist. And then you take one more look and they're right in front of your face. Oh, the trials and tribulations of Lego builders everywhere. I know, these aren't Legos, but close enough for government work. Boop, 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 boop. Where is the other? Yeah, I should have two of those. Oh, there it is. Once again, right in front of my face. One of those. I need two of these short dudes. Ein, zwei. And I need one of the gray dudes, so I'll bet goes on the back. By gum, he does. It's all gray back there. Okay, so this would probably be like the window cockpit for the choo-choo drivers. I know, they're called engineers. But they're choo-choo drivers too. Okay, so wait a minute. I did need four of those. All right. Burp. And burp. Okay. All right, so let's get off of Castle Rat. But yeah, you might want to check them out. You can find them on YouTube. Okay, here's another one. Kind of interesting. So it's kind of in the same vein as what Pete Cimetti is working on. And that is, let me see this. Is that one straight piece? Okay, yeah, it is. Okay. This is the Internet Comic Database. And no, it's not about comedians. But then don't they deserve a database of their own? Well, actually, they probably don't. What the? Wait a minute. Oh, I screwed those up. Oh, man. Ooh, okay, that wasn't too bad. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, these needed to go up a little bit. Oh, boy. There we go. Just enough of a fingernail to make it happen. To make the magic happen. In other words, to fix my screw up. And those go on there. All right. Yeah, I didn't think it looked like it was going to have enough room. And those go there and there. Oh, my God. Please do not fall apart on me here. Here we go. Starting to kind of look like something. Well, kind of. So Internet Comic Database, I think the idea here is, and they're looking for, it's not a massive amount of money they're looking for, but to kind of get it started. I think it's a system where creators can enter the different books, characters, etc. that they're doing. So there's sort of a record of it. I would assume there will probably be links so that you can get to things and buy them. And then the buyers can go to this site and they can, explore and see what there is out there. And I suppose if if you're using things like keywords and all that good stuff, that you can, oh, I see. Those are interesting pieces. I haven't seen those before. That you could kind of explore around for like dark fantasy or superheroes or what have you and find what you're looking for. And so I think that's the idea primarily, is to have a resource, kind of like those fan pages for Marvel and DC that kind of have like all their comics covers. I think it's something like that for indie comic creators. So I backed this one. I'm a data guy. I get it. And hopefully they'll be able to put that together, because one of the biggest problems for indie creators is just straight out getting attention, getting people out there who, discover your work and, of course, are willing to actually pay for it as well. Heck, that's a problem for the big boys, too. But they have marketing budgets. They're established names. So it's a little easier for them to get stuff out there and be discovered. Like if you're doing a new comic book character for the Marvel Universe, you're not going to have a massive amount of trouble letting people know that it exists, that it's out there. You can have them teaming up with characters in your other books, all that kind of stuff. And so that's what they're kind of doing with this thing. I think it's a good idea. It's a noble idea. It'll come down to, of course, do creators put their stuff in there? Do they use it? Do buyers find it? Do they use it? That's going to obviously be the tricky part, is getting adoption. I work in an industry that kind of faces similar issues. In our case, it's commercial real estate, and it's getting the listings you have for, industrial buildings or retail shops or whatever, getting it in front of people who are going to lease, people who are going to buy. There's various listing sites, that are set up that exist for that kind of thing. But the trick with all of them always is, will people do the work and actually put their stuff on there, and will they keep it up to date? Because if some other broker goes to one of these listing sites and pulls a bunch of listings, and it's all out of date, that will tend to make them rather angry. And they'll go, well, and this is something that's very true with brokers, and maybe it's true with comic buyers. If you sort of fail them once, well, then this thing is useless. It's no good. They just don't have any chill when it comes to this kind of stuff. Of like, well, give them a chance, let them fix it. It's brand new. No, this is useless. I don't need it anymore. Bye-bye. You get a lot of that, honestly. It's kind of, it can be completely honest. It can be really frustrating when you're working with these folks of just, dudes, come on. Just, they're growing pains. Let them work it out. No, don't have time for this. It's got to be perfect the first time. Hopefully we won't get that with something like the Internet Comic Database. People will take some time and let them get things figured out. Let them produce a good product that we're going to be able to get some real use out of over the years. Build stuff out. Let people discover some cool comics. Get things better known. Because I'll tell you what, I do this little thing on here. Here's some stuff that I've seen that I think is cool. You might want to check it out. And a lot of this stuff is really cool, but like if you look at the sales of some of these things, like Aaron Lepresti's work, the sad thing is you're going like, if Wraith of God was being published by like DC Comics, it would probably be huge because there would just be more people out there aware of it and buying it. But the reality is, quality wise, it should be huge. It should be selling like 1 million copies. So if we can help build these things up a little better. All right, here we go. We're getting really close to being done with this. Very cool. I think it's all for the best. All right, let me speed through here a little bit. It's going to be a longer one than I thought, mostly because I'm doing this and jawing and chatting about things. All right, so, that's interesting. Oh, we are completed. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Now, you notice, though, it is completed. So we have our... Oh, I guess it is. It's like maglev. So there's no wheels or anything. I wasn't thinking about that. I'm going, well, wait a minute. Shouldn't there be... Well, if there are wheels, wouldn't I have seen some wheels in here? But you do see all the pieces here that we have left over. So a lot of good spare pieces. And again, if you took all your spares, I always just keep them in these little packs. I don't even know why, to be honest, but I do. But if you just put them in a little bin, then your kids would be able to put these things together. I think these little PetitBlocks would be great for like a birthday party as little favors, because they really are cheap, like $1.99, $2.99. That's about it. And you can, and there's so many different ones you can get. You can get little, little Shiba Inus, and you can get tanks and whatever. So whatever the kids are into, they could find something that they would probably like. Okay, so let's do these bits here. Matter of fact, I'll even... God, you guys have been cheated out of my beautiful, beautiful face like most of this stream. And that's just not... That's not fair. Thinking of all the ladies celebrating Mother's Day who haven't gotten to look at my loveliness. Good Lord. It's like I've committed a crime against beauty. Oh, I still have my stupid second pair of glasses on, too. Okay, Becoming Frazetta. 400-page hardcover on Frazetta's early years. 200-plus pages of art. Some unseen. This is coming to Kickstarter soon. That is a weighty tome, but it's Frazetta. It's coming from the Frazetta girls, so you know it's going to be done with a lot of love and a lot of care, and probably will be rad, because his early work, as much as we love the paintings and stuff that comes with, early work, like in comics, his pen and ink was astoundingly good. So that'll be cool. And I think they did just do a large volume of the later work too. So it's a good companion to that. Last one I have here, Kickstarter is now live for Club VanFleur. And the reason I'm highlighting this primarily is because Jose Garcia does the art, and he's a really cool dude on Twitter. This is an 80-page book, and the interior art is like black and white. And I was looking at some samples that he put up today on Twitter or X, and you might want to check it out. Really, really, really good stuff. It's obviously it's got more of the the manga look to it, but I mean, just really outstanding art. Really looks great. So you might want to check that out. Club VanFleur. I didn't really have any new acquisitions this time along, except for one that I'm actually going to review. Oh, first I'll show off this new acquisition. My wife bought these. These are Dolly Parton napkins, and they're so friggin' cool we can't actually use them as napkins. They've just been sitting on the counter for I don't know how long now. And I don't know if we're ever going to actually use them. I can't, I'm supposed to wipe my mouth on Dolly Parton? Come on. Even the back of them is pretty cool too. Okay. There's a new acquisition. Okay. So first up, and I did finish reading this today. This is, and I actually have the image too, but this is GodsDog Warrior. This is the second in a series of graphic novels done by Jonathan Pajot, Mathieu Pajot, with art. There's actually two artists in the book. The main story adapted and drawn by Matthew Sheehan. The mythic story adapted and drawn by Jesse White. Sheehan's art is colored by Philippe Carton. Jesse White's is colored by Matt Krotz, lettered by Matt Krotz. So Jonathan Pajot is a Orthodox Christian. He's an icon carver, but he and his brother have done a lot of work on symbolism specifically, but not only, but specifically in the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament. Kind of a, there's things you might not understand in the Bible if you don't understand the symbolism that the people who were writing it and reading it knew, 2,000 some years ago. So they talk about a lot of that kind of stuff and what it means and some of the more intricate stuff. So this is a story they had in mind, and it concerns St. Christopher. Now, St. Christopher in early iconography was sometimes shown with the head of a dog. And so it's a story of these pilgrims, and it's done more in a sort of, it's definitely, they're visiting Jerusalem. So it's definitely set in the Middle East, but there's a mythic quality to a lot of it too. But it's about him being found in the wilderness as this wild man and he has the head of a dog. He's a monster. And how he basically becomes a saint, and it involves battles with the giants, and really cool. So this is the second volume, Warrior, and it's good. I really like it. I like the art. It's effective. Like, here's an example of the mythic story. Actually, let me take this down for a minute. So there's an example of the mythic story and the art there. And then I'll grab something from earlier in the story too. Here you can see sort of the main story of the pilgrims. Very good. And because of who's doing it, there is a great deal of symbolism in it. So it's one of those things you could probably read a few times and think about and get a little bit more each time you do it. So just wanted to point that one out, because I don't know that this gets a lot of attention in the normal comic book realm, because it's obviously does have a more religious, aspect to it, but really solid work. Pajot does some great videos. He does these great videos with Richard Rowland on universal history, which are just really fascinating. And Rowland does one with a priest. Is it Matthew Damick? Father Damick? I might be getting that right. Where they look at different, folklores, mythologies. They were taking a look at Ethiopian Christianity. It's really fascinating stuff, especially if you are a Christian, but not just if you're a Christian. There's a lot to get out of these things. And Pajot's also been doing these illustrated storybooks, for kids that are really, really cool and do work off of, Christian symbolism within, not just that was already in these fairy tales, but also sort of like, playing off of that to tell the Christian story and the Christian worldview, through these things as well. You might want to check them out. They're very good. Also, and I got this maybe a week or two ago, finally got to read Shutter, issue number 22. These are books that magazines I've been wanting to get, but the difficult thing was that, being, full-size magazines, they're not like cheap. And when you had shipping costs going in as well, I'm looking for the one artist that I really, really enjoyed in this and in the Vampirus Carmilla. Yeah, his name is Nick Paluco. There you see sort of this page over here, kind of duplicating the Frazetta from the cover. Little virtual reality story. But these are like horror stories with a twist. I dig them. The Carmilla one was pretty good too. I had fun with them. They're just fun reads, They're just fun reads. Black and white art, like the old-fashioned horror mags that we grew up with. So you might want to check them out. I got mine at Barnes & Noble, so I was happy to find them there, so I didn't have to worry about shipping costs. And gave me an opportunity to try them out. I had gotten one issue when the mag had a different name that they kind of got in trouble for using because it sounded too much like somebody else's name. And I'd had one of those, and I'd wanted more, but it was just sort of like you got to budget things, right? You can't buy everything. So those are a couple comic reviews. I got some movie reviews here. Oh, I'm hitting the thing for the next one, and I don't have the slide up. There's Shutter. Okay. All right. So I managed to get 4 movies in this week. I tell a lie. 3 of them were first-time watches for me. One of them I thought was, but when I looked at my database, I'm like, oh, I did actually see this before. And I actually liked them all. So this first one is called Nightfall. Aldo Ray, Brian Keith, Anne Bancroft. So if you've only ever seen Anne Bancroft, like in The Graduate or something, this is a younger Anne Bancroft. Film noir. It's an interesting concept. Oh, you also get James Gregory in this one. Inspector Luger from Barney Miller. Hey, Barn, what's going on? Just wanted to, sort of rouse the troops. Anyways, I know I almost sound like I'm going Dennis Miller on that. So this is the story idea is that Aldo Ray is on the run from these bank robbers. He knows where their loot is. They want the loot. They want to kill him because he's a witness to some things. But it's a really interesting thing is why he knows who they are. The bad guys are really bad. Brian Keith is one of them. The other guy is a little scarier, to be quite honest. And Anne Bancroft gets involved because these 2 guys convince her that they're cops and they're looking for Aldo Ray. So she helps lure him into this situation where they get a hold of him briefly. And so she kind of feels bad about it, and she ends up, on Aldo Ray's side. The ending is a little bit forced, but not terrible. But overall, I enjoyed it. It was a nice movie. It's just a little movie, It's not big fancy, but it was good. A little film noir, with some really bad dudes in it. And then I watched. And this is the one that I had seen before and had forgotten about. It seemed familiar, but I convinced myself I hadn't seen it. As Young as You Feel, 1947. Oh, actually, Nightfall was 56, if I didn't say it before. So 1947, Monty Woolley, great name, great beard. Constance Bennett, Marilyn Monroe is in it. David Wayne and Marilyn Monroe would be together in How to Marry a Millionaire. God, probably not that many years after this. But Marilyn Monroe's kind of got a smaller part because she's just starting out at this point. It's a cool story. Woolley plays this guy who works for a printer, like an industrial type printer. And he's 65, so he's losing his job. They don't employ people 65 and older. All right. And that used to be a thing for sure. And so he finds out that it's actually the policy of the corporate parent of the printing company, Continental Motors. And he's trying to figure out who the president of Continental Motors is. Some guy's last name is Cleveland. So he can write him a letter and complain, basically. Because what else is he going to do? And actually his family kind of needs the money, that he brings in. So he kind of finds out nobody knows who this guy really is. And so he decides on a little scam. He writes a letter to his former boss at the printing company in the name of this Consolidated Motors president. I'm going to be stopping by to inspect your plant. Holy crap. So he dyes his hair and his beard so he looks a little younger. It's usually white. And he goes in, takes the tour, has a board meeting and says, well, the one thing I don't like is that you have no older men working here. This is a printing shop. It's not a young man's game. You need the experience, the wisdom, this, 65 and older stuff is fine for my car company, but we don't want that here. And they go, okay, so we'll hire back anybody we fired over the last year that was 65 and older. Okay, that's all he wants to do is get his job back. He's like, okay, good, I'm out of here. Well, wait a minute. We have a Chamber of Commerce lunch that we want you to go to, and we want you to give a speech. And then the president's like, and you must come to my house tonight for dinner and meet my wife and all this other stuff. And he's kind of like, oh, shit. All right, whatever. He's the kind of dude who just rolls with stuff. Like, he doesn't care. He's an old dude. He doesn't give a crap. He goes, makes this speech, huge, blown up in the newspapers. And it actually helps Continental Motors, like, stock value and stuff. And the president there is like, well, I actually like this speech, but I didn't give it. And I kind of wonder why my PR people didn't write it for me. I agree with everything in it, but like, they're all going, people might think this is all some kind of a plant in order to increase the value of our stock. We could get in trouble. Let's just keep quiet about it. But he decides, this president, I'm going to go actually and see if I can figure out what happened. Meantime, in that meeting with the guy's wife, she kind of falls for him because the president of that printing company is like all business all the time. And he's kind of got a little thing for his secretary, Marilyn Monroe, which I guess, okay, but she doesn't really go along with it. Credit to Marilyn. And so this woman's like, I want to divorce my husband. He doesn't love me. I don't love him, And so basically this dude, for doing this little fake speech and this little fraud, causes some big ripples that then have to work their way out. It's kind of fun. It's a light comedy. It's not like, you're not roaring, but Woolie's good. Constance Bennett was really good in it. I mean, everybody really was. If you're just looking for a light comedy, and with actually some really good things to be said about human dignity and, the need for work and all that, good flick. All right. Then I went kind of international this weekend. So I watched Fantomas versus Scotland Yard, or Contre Scotland Yard, French film. I didn't realize it is the third in the trilogy of the Fantomas movies until I already started watching it. It's subtitled, and it's primarily a comedy. The Fantomas makeup is flippin' amazing, though. It's really cool, and I want to watch more of these. I don't always do that well with French comedy or Italian comedies. They're a little broad for my taste sometimes, as Joel Robinson said about Droppo in the Santa Claus movie, this guy's a little broad for Larry Storch. Okay, so they're a little broad. Not so in this one, really. I thought Louis Dufournet, I guess it's pronounced, plays Inspector Jouve. His assistant Bertrand is played by Jacques Dinam. They were great together, and they really are the key of the whole movie. And I enjoyed it. I had fun. I chuckled at it. It's like a kind of a heist movie. Fantomas is this amazing criminal who's never caught. And how does he pull this whole thing off? Fun little flick, worth it. I want to watch the other Fantomas ones. And then my last movie, I watched it last night. Hairpin Circus, 1972. Japanese film about street racing, but really about a lot more than street racing. It's about dignity. It's about regrets. It is kind of dark, kind of downbeat, amazing music. Jazz has a jazz score to it. It's a lot of driving. It's a lot of talking. It's just that kind of movie that where you can kind of just groove into it and and just watch. It's almost like slice of life, almost like American Graffiti or Dazed and Confused, where you're following this guy and these other people and what they're doing. It's not a comedy. It's not funny like those movies. And it's got a real punch at the end, man. It's a real punch. Really great visuals. I liked it. I did like it. It's probably one of those ones I'll watch here and there. I might try to find it like on DVD. It's one that I might put in every once in a while. Yeah, it's definitely worth it. It's something I've been wanting to watch for a while. Directed by Kiyoshi Nishimura, stars Kiyoshi Misaki. I know. Sorry about my Japanese pronunciation. I speak Japanese like an American. And Yuko Inatsu. Music by Masaki Kikichi. Good flick. You don't watch it to get happy, but it's pretty powerful. It's a good drama. It's well paced. Yeah, definitely worth watching. Well, that just about does it. Coming up this week in Dad's Den, Monday, Justice League number 19, Justice League Goes to Apocalypse. Wednesday, I'm doing a review of Star Chaser, The Legend of Orin, a animated film, not for kids, really, that I think is underrated. It's been called very derivative of Star Wars. And it's like, yeah, well, Star Wars was derivative of movies too, so whatever. And then on Friday, we're going to be looking at the Talking Mork from Ork action figure, which I showed a while back on something else. And I finally got a slot for this one. I keep getting like new toys that I wanted to cover, and I kept pushing it back. So we got Justice League, we got Star Chaser, we got Mork from Ork, and Nanu coming up this week in Dad's Den, and of course the live stream on Sunday. So let's close this dude up again. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there, to all the moms we've lost. God bless you. What you have to put up with from us kids. God bless you all. Thank you for doing what you do. And I guess with that, I will say God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun out there. And, hopefully I'll see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.